You're looking at an Ipsos study exploring people's concerns. What exactly are South Africans worried about?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Yuveka, COVID-19 is one of the big concerns, but not the biggest. So what really is making us nervous? This survey gives us some indication. It's an Ipsos poll covering 27 countries around the world, both emerging markets and so-called developed nations. And the big question, what is on your mind? What are some of the top concerns that you have right now? This survey was conducted in February, by the way, so perhaps not surprising that there's no mention of load shedding, but perhaps if they conduct the survey next month, we will see a different situation. Let's focus on those numbers as we explore this particular poll. First of all, COVID-19. So the global average in terms of concerns about COVID-19, 50%. That's fallen quite a bit since the beginning of the pandemic, but still at 50%. And take a look at this. South Africa, 42% of us concerned about COVID-19. And just to put that in perspective, in the UK, the figure is almost 70%. And let's not forget that the UK already has a massive vaccine program that has been running. So they're much more concerned about COVID-19 than we are. You have to wonder why. Are they paranoid? Well, maybe it's because they can afford to be concerned about COVID-19, and South Africans maybe not so much. Let's take a quick look at concerns around jobs and unemployment. And this is where we are actually way above the average. So around the world, 37% of people saying jobs are a big worry at the moment. Take a look at the number there, Yuveka, 61% in South Africa. And I've included a few other countries in emerging markets like Turkey, 44%. In Brazil, it's 34%. So essentially 1 out of 3. So really a big disparity there. South Africans much more concerned about the economic effects of the virus than the virus itself. Yuveka?
All right, so you mentioned jobs there, and that's very serious indeed. Those numbers are absolutely worrying and disparaging as well, Michael. Now, corruption also has become a very big issue. It's always been a big issue for us here in South Africa, but particularly during the pandemic. I suppose people thought maybe those who are used to having their fingers in the cookie jar might for once just put everybody's health first, but not so much we see. How do we feel about what's happening so far? Yeah,
absolutely. Corruption, a very big concern and way above the average compared to the rest of the world as well. Let's focus very quickly on the corruption stats, Yuveka. And what you'll see here is that corruption concerns actually dropped at the beginning of the pandemic. They fell quite considerably in South Africa, right down to 44%. We are now seeing that climb considerably. So it's up to 56% of people saying that corruption is a big concern, and much higher than the average. The global average was just 27%. If you look at the lowest in terms of corruption, that was Germany, 8%. There is maybe a silver lining in all of this, Yuveka. We weren't the highest.
Oh, thank goodness.
compared to some other countries. Russia was actually the highest when it came to concerns about corruption, but only just slightly above South Africa. So as we mark 1 year since the president made that declaration, let's hope we can worry less about corruption and more about the actual virus and dealing with that issue. Fingers crossed we won't be talking about corruption and COVID corruption in a year's time.